In today's episode, I'm going to show you guys the start of a very special journey for me because I've acquired this Amiga 500 Plus and A590 bundle, and I posted a picture of this over on the community tab over on YouTube, and people were saying, what is an A590? And I must admit, I've never used one myself. But the A590 is a very beefy hard drive, beefy in size as you can see, with its own power pack, but very small in terms of its memory, with only an additional 20 megabytes that fits into the side of the Amiga 500 or Amiga 500 Plus. Since refueling my thirst for Amiga home computers, it's clear to me just how important the Amiga 500 is for many fans out there. Amiga for Mortals, one of the prominent Amiga fixer-uppers and fans and go-to hubs of knowledge, said the following. My first Amiga was the 500 Plus in the Cartoon Classics pack that I got for Christmas in 1991 when I was 7. It was the most amazing thing I had ever seen. It was better than any computer I'd used. The games felt like I was playing actual cartoons from the TV, and the Say application felt like magic, having the Amiga read out what you type. So a prominent home computer, not just for the nerds and geeks that sat in front of Workbench, oh no, but for the gamers as well. And for me, that's what bore my love for the Amiga, because it was the games back in the 90s when you'd go into your friends' bedrooms and see, maybe X copy set up as they were copying games onto floppy disks. I mean, I have so many rich and warm memories of playing the Amiga, and then after that followed the Super Nintendo, which I do say, and it still is to this day, my favourite video game console of all time. But I definitely don't forget where I came from, and the Amiga, as much as we never owned one because we were quite poor, I loved going around to my friends to play this wonderful home computer. Now, you've seen some footage here and some pictures of the bundle that I picked up, and the Amiga 500 in particular was known for its faults. And unfortunately, I bought this, it wasn't working, but I thought I might be able to have a tinker with it. And I decided to take it apart to have a look at the dreaded A500 battery. This is bad. This is the battery, and it looks pretty darn corroded. I'm gonna zoom right in here, guys. Sorry if the resolution's crap. Yeah, it looks pretty bad. Oh my god, I don't know if that can be fixed. I'm gonna message some guys right now. Oh, otherwise, it looks relatively clean. Oh mate, I'm absolutely wounded at that. It's this bad boy that needs to be ripped out. It's really corroded on both sides, as you can see. It's like there's some damage here as well. It feels disgusting. So the Amiga 500 Plus didn't work, but I knew that when I purchased it, hence the discount. But all is not lost, because in this video we're going to be stripping down the mouse and starting the hydrogen peroxide whitening process. I'm going to show you guys the games, or majority of them are programs, and I'm going to tell you exactly how this 500 Plus situation is going to be fixed. That's right, I reached out to Retro Passion, and what I'm actually doing, because it could potentially be quite a big and expensive job to fix, I am part exchanging my Amiga 500 Plus with Retro Passion. He's going to use it for parts, and I'm going to just get an Amiga 500 fully refurbished, fully recapped and cleaned, and I'm going to pay the rest cash. So that is going to be coming, I'm going to show you guys in part 2 as I continue to get this Amiga 500 set up
setup. So let's take the mouse apart, let's give it a clean, and let's start the whitening process.
This is the classic Amiga tank mouse. You can pick one of these up secondhand for around £20 to £30. Here's mine before we decide to pull it apart and give it a bit of a clean. Now, the colour, a lot of people say that it was smoking that dyed our consoles and home computers that dirty, horrible yellow colour, but actually it was a chemical called bromine that when exposed to UV light, it turned it into this dirty, filthy, horrible yellow manky colour. And to reverse it, you need to do a lot more than cleaning. Not only do you have to strip everything apart, give it a good clean, you then have to go through either a hydrogen peroxide method or a retrobrite method. So retrobrite works very similar to the hydrogen peroxide, whereby you coat the shell and you leave it for around 24 to 36 hours under UV light, and it should take out the bulk of that dirty, disgusting orangey yellow colour that we all dislike. So once we've removed the shell and the ball, you can see there's only 4 screws you need to remove. We have some Q-tips and some rubbing alcohol, and the cleaning process begins by simply grabbing the Q-tips with a little bit of rubbing alcohol and just taking to it as much as you feel necessary. So there's the damage. It's not too bad. I'll show you a before and after picture as well. Again, it's a little bit disgusting seeing the Q-tips, but you can see that we're well on our way to getting this thing cleaned. You can see the before picture on the left and the after picture. You can see the plastic, the board itself has a lot less dust on. Guys, the pictures don't do it justice, if I'm brutally honest with you. And then after that, what I did is I took to a little bit of warm soapy water just to wash the case in. I got myself some 9% hydrogen peroxide, and I'm going to show you the results in an upcoming episode. In fact, it will be the next episode that I do.
What about the discs? Unfortunately, there's not a massive amount of games, but I'm going to fix that. I'll show you everything anyway. Some of the guys' writing on the disc is incredibly small, but I can assure you there's not really a great deal worth showing, but I'll put it out there for anybody wondering anyway. Here are the discs.
So here's the scoop. I purchased this bundle from Gumtree. Now listen to this. I got the whole bundle for £50 because the Amiga does not work. We were in the chap's house for about an hour. Little did we know at this time that the battery had already leaked, and that was the reason as to why it wasn't turning on. He initially had it all up for sale for $275, but we agreed on a price of $220, but then it was down to $50 because again, we couldn't get it to work. Now the chap himself seemed like a really nice man, very cultured guy, and he wasn't the typical kind of guy that would sit and want to play many video games. In fact, a lot of these discs are programs or unlabeled, but I wanted to show you guys absolutely everything because, well, you might be able to spot something that I might not be able to spot. So like I've already said in this episode, I'm part exchanging my broken Amiga 500 Plus for an Amiga 500 fully cleaned, fully recapped and fully restored, and that will be through Retro Passion. If you want to give them a follow, I will link them in the description. It was Retro Passion that also fit and cleaned and recapped my Amiga 600 when I purchased that. I think it was 2020. So if you've spotted anything in these floppy disks that you feel you need to kind of say, hey Gemma, that's awesome, or Gemma, this is absolutely terrible, or perhaps you think that I shouldn't have even paid £50 for this entire bundle, feel free to let me know in the comment section and give me some constructive feedback. So we're about to go back to the Lady Lounge, and I'm going to tell you what is coming up in part 2 of this Amiga 500 mini series. But I'm going to have a cheeky plug and ask you guys to please subscribe and consider hitting that join link in the description, or click the join button which is next to the subscribe button, and for about £1.99 a month you can become a channel member with varied perks. So let's continue with this episode, and I'm going to link every single Amiga episode that I've ever done in this in the description.
So the crowning jewel in this episode and in the purchase was the Amiga, the A520, which is the external hard drive. I'm looking forward to actually being able to utilize an Amiga 500 with the hard drive, and I'll be demoing some stuff in later episodes. So if you like all things retro gaming and Amiga related stuff, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. I'll link every single Amiga episode I've done in the pinned comments, in the cards and in the description of this episode. But for now, more Amiga content coming from me in the very, very coming episodes. Leave a like, and I'm repeating myself. Take care. See you soon.